Welcome to the deep dive. We take your sources, articles, research, notes, and, well, we try to pull out the key insights.
That's the plan.
And today, we're plunging into Marilyn Monroe. I mean, her presence is just astonishingly enduring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Still captivating people right now in 2025, decades after her death.
It really is remarkable.
So our mission here is to kind of explore the core of that timeless allure. You know, that mix of vulnerability and, well, charisma that made her such an icon.
Absolutely. And what's so fascinating, I think, is how it's this combination of a really meticulously crafted public image and the very human, sometimes tragic reality behind it.
Right.
So we're going to try and unpack why her legacy is still so potent, looking at those layers, the image, but also the depth of her influence, which is, frankly, surprising in some ways.
Okay, so where do we start? How did this incredibly iconic persona first take shape? Because the sources make it clear it wasn't an accident.
Not at all. It was a really careful construction, starting with Norma Jean Baker becoming Marilyn Monroe. And that transformation, well, it was definitely fueled by a challenging early life personal struggles.
Yeah, you can see that thread.
And what's really insightful, I think, is how she didn't just get stuck with the dumb blonde thing. She kind of weaponized it in a way.
Weaponized it. How so?
Well, she was incredibly skilled at navigating that trope, using it almost like a smokescreen, you know, it disarmed people. But then she'd let these little hints of her actual intellect peek through.
Ah, okay, so it wasn't just one thing.
Exactly. That dual image was, I think, crucial for her broad appeal. It let different people see different things in her.
And that feels very modern, actually, like an early blueprint for how celebrities manage their image today.
Totally.
The research points to very strategic, very calculated decisions.
Yeah.
You know, the name change, that's the obvious one.
Right.
But also engaging in early publicity stunts, things that were really well orchestrated. And then, of course, her figure, which back then was seen as the ideal.
The absolute ideal for that era, yeah.
All these pieces contributing to this massive appeal. It wasn't just about, oh, she's talented or she looks good. It was a deliberate cultivation of perception.
Indeed. It feels like every aspect was considered, or at least very carefully presented to the public. Control was key.
But maybe the real genius, the thing that created that deep connection, it wasn't just the glamour, right? It was her willingness to show what was underneath.
That's a huge part of
Those raw emotional performances on screen, they really set her apart from other quote-unquote bombshells of the time.
Absolutely. They added this layer of emotional complexity, especially later in her career. You felt something more.
Which creates this striking paradox, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You've got this global sex symbol
Right.
who's also openly talking about wanting intellectual recognition, wanting respect beyond her looks.
And that yearning, that desire for something more resonated so deeply. People connected with that ambition, that very human side of her, then and now. It made her seem reachable.
And the openness about her struggles, mental health, insecurity, that wasn't common then.
Not at all. And it forged this really profound, almost intimate bond with audiences. Scholars point this out too. Her performances showed a huge range of emotion, real psychological depth.
It's a fascinating dynamic, though.
Yeah.
Because even that vulnerability, that authenticity, well, the sources suggest it was also perhaps carefully managed. That even the vulnerability reinforced her image as this approachable girl.
That's a really interesting point. Like, the authenticity itself became part of the brand, making her relatable even as she became this larger-than-life figure, accessible despite the fame.
Yeah, exactly. And this careful crafting, it wasn't just for Hollywood success. It laid the groundwork for her becoming a truly global icon.
Oh, definitely.
For so many, she became the embodiment of the American dream. You know, rags to riches, poverty to global stardom, that whole narrative.
A powerful narrative.
Yeah.
And her influence stretches way beyond film. Fashion, photography, the whole idea of what a celebrity is. You can still see echoes of her in stars today.
Absolutely. Those iconic images. The white dress, obviously.
Can't escape that one.
Or even just her voice, that breathy delivery. They still hold so much power. They get reinterpreted constantly in modern media.
Yeah, her image gets modernized, but there's still this respect for the original legacy. Which kind of raises the question, how does an image stay relevant but also evolve?
It's almost spooky how modern it feels.
Yeah.
Marilyn didn't just outlast her era. She seems to have, in a way, transcended death itself.
How do you mean?
Well, we found sources talking about her image being used in things like necromarketing.
Ah, right. Using deceased celebrities in ads.
Exactly. And even AI being used to sort of revive her for campaigns. It really hammers home how pervasive her influence still is right now.
That's quite something. It really is. But unfortunately, the story takes that tragic turn, which only seemed to amplify her mystique.
Yeah, the untimely death. It's still surrounded by so much speculation, conspiracy theories.
Decades later, still fueling fascination.
And that tragic ending, whether it's the reality or the theories people build around it, it definitely played a huge role in cementing her as this legendary, almost mythical figure.
For sure.
The debate about the real her versus the manufactured persona, that's still going strong among fans, scholars.
It is. And you know, those conspiracy theories, they're almost a category of their own within celebrity culture. They feed the spectacle, the attention machine that keeps celebrity going.
Like the suggestions about the Kennedys.
Exactly. Those kinds of theories, regardless of their truth, become part of the narrative. A dark part, maybe, but undeniable in keeping her story alive and debated.
So bringing it to today, what does this all mean for her legacy now? Because her influence is just everywhere in fashion and art.
It really is. She's like a foundational case study in glamour, isn't she? Her look still inspires designers' trends.
Yeah, she pops up constantly in visual studies of 1950s Hollywood style, alongside other big names.
And you see specific designers still drawing from her. Obviously, William Trevilla, who designed the actual white dress for 7-Year Itch. That's still a touchstone.
The ultimate reference point.
But also think about designers like Jean-Paul Gaultier. He's explicitly referenced her, played with that white dress image, exploring sexuality, pop culture.
Right, I've seen those collections.
And Versace, under Donatella, they often celebrate powerful, glamorous women in a way that echoes Monroe's kind of allure, bold, sensual, luxurious.
It really shows how fashion keeps looking back, doesn't it?
Right.
Taking these 50s icons like Marilyn and reinterpreting them. It's this kind of nostalgic approach,
Yeah.
but it allows for more personal takes today.
Yeah, less rigid, maybe.
And her impact isn't just clothes, it's huge in photography, visual arts.
Oh, massive. Those Magnum photographers, Inge Morath, Elliot Erwitt, Eve Arnold, they talked about her ability to just captivate the camera, like she had the shimmering quality.
Yeah.
Eve Arnold said the camera was crazy about her.
Wow, crazy about her. That's quite a statement from a photographer like Arnold.
It explains why visual stuff featuring Monroe often goes in two directions. Either building the myth through photos or creating a kind of critical memory through art.
So photography builds the legend, art unpacks it.
Sometimes, yeah. She's been in visual art since de Kooning, really. Influenced the pop art guy's Warhol series from '62 is globally famous.
Multicolored Marilyns, yeah.
And contemporary artists, too. There was a painting in '64 called Homage to Marilyn Monroe, just her partial profile. She keeps showing up.
And it gets even more complex, right?
Yeah.
Like artists using her image to critique things.
Exactly. In the '90s, you had artists like Cindy Sherman and Gada Amer taking erotic images of figures like Monroe and kind of reappropriating them, using them to deconstruct pornographic codes, challenge how we usually see women, explore female desire.
That's a really powerful way to use such a well-known image, taking control of it.
It is. And you see her in really cutting-edge contemporary projects, too. There's this interactive digital piece.
Oh, the digital pop art creation.
Yeah, that one. It uses tech like an Arduino chip and even wind from a fan to animate that iconic 7-Year Itch pose.
So it moves.
It moves. It blends Warhol's pop art idea with interactivity, makes it dynamic, constantly shifting. The audience engages differently.
That sounds fascinating. Bringing her image to life, literally with technology.
And it's part of a broader thing. Contemporary artists, including in Iran, are using her imagery too, building on that pop art legacy. But in today's context, it makes the audience more active participants.
And her presence is still felt in more traditional ways too, like exhibitions.
Oh yeah, like the Getty Images Gallery show dedicated to her. And scholars are still tracking her image through American visual culture, how pop artists depicted her from the 50s through the 60s and 70s, right up to now.
It's just constant.
It really shows how an image can evolve, be reinterpreted again and again, but somehow keep that iconic status. It changes the audience from just looking to maybe collaborating and keeping the legacy alive.
So wrapping this up, where does this leave us? It seems like Marilyn Monroe's timeless appeal really comes down to this unique mix. The glamour, yes, but also that deep vulnerability and this layer of mystery that just Keeps us hooked.
Absolutely. And her legacy feels incredibly relevant today, especially when we talk about women in the public eye. Was she a proto-feminist, pushing boundaries?
Or did the image sometimes reinforce objectification, even unintentionally?
Exactly. It's complex. It feeds into ongoing discussions about female empowerment, exploitation, the pressures of fame, things we're still grappling with.
It is incredibly layered.
Mm.
So maybe a final thought for you listening.
Hmm.
Consider this. What does Marilyn Monroe's persistent resonance across decades, from that crafted persona and raw emotion all the way to digital art and AI versions of her, what does that reveal about our fascination with celebrity, with authenticity, with what makes an icon last?
And how do we navigate that line between the persona and the person, especially now when technology is making that line even blurrier?
Something to mull over.